Block, what is going on? You are tuned in to another episode of Quiet Storm Sports on the Purple Rain Podcast YouTube channel, where we cover all things Baltimore Ravens damn near daily. Appreciate each and every one of you guys for coming through. We are live right now, so shout out to the live chat and shout out to the replay gang of this episode as well. Please be sure to like this video, also hype this video. You guys know the drill, and comment down below your thoughts, comments, questions, concerns. Jacoby Lane, Ravens wide receiver. I learned some very shocking truths about him in his Lounge podcast interview that dropped earlier today, and we're going to break that down in detail, in depth right here on this episode. Again, before we jump into that, please be sure to like this video. Let me know you're here in the live chat or comment down below, hashtag replay gang. Also, thank you so much for 7,000 subscribers. 7,000 subscribers here on PRP. Thank y'all so much. Let's just clap it up. Let's just clap it up really quick. Clap it up for the Rain Gang, man. 7K subs. And you know what that means. Giveaway on tonight's episode of PRP. Before we get into any more of that, let me run this intro, man. This is Quiet Storm Sports on PRP. Let's get into it. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whenever you might be listening to this. My name is Sutton Def, and you are listening to the Purple Rain Podcast YouTube channel, and this is Quiet Storm Sports. Like I said, we got a lot of things to get into today, mainly surrounding Ravens' third-round pick, rookie wide receiver Jacoby Lane, and some things that I heard in his Lounge podcast interview that really tipped me off into like what this rookie season, what this rookie campaign can look like for this guy and what it might mean for this Ravens offense, because I think there's huge. When I say huge, I mean like tremendous implications on what he can do. There's huge expectations coming from me after what I heard in this interview. So we're going to break all that down, guys, of course. Let me first, of course, give a shout out to who's here in the live chat. See the live chat in full effect. JR is in here. Shelly Shell's in the live chat. Good morning. ISO's in the live chat. Let me see. Kenny's in the live chat. Dylan, another member. Christian, another member in the live chat. What's going on, man? What's going on, man? Christian says, yo, what up, Sutton? Up this early? W refresh at work? Man, you know it, man. You know it. You know it. Well, you don't know it because I'm normally not up this early, or at least not streaming this early. But today I decided, I woke up, I rolled out of bed. I was like, you know what? Jacoby Lane has an interview with the Lounge podcast. And so I listened to it, half sleep. But I jumped up out of my sleep because I was like, whoa, I didn't know that. And then I kept listening. I was like, oh, I didn't know that either. Well, if that's true, then that means that this is going to happen in the offense this year. And this is what it could potentially all look. So, yes, here I am. Morning stream. By the way, guys, of course, again, like I mentioned at the top of the show, we did hit 7,000 subscribers here on this YouTube channel. Thank you guys so much from the bottom of my heart. On behalf of Alex as well, we truly do appreciate all of the support that you guys give us here at the Purple Rain Podcast YouTube channel. So, of course, like I said before, we will be doing a 7K giveaway, and we will be giving away something very cool, something very cool. Let's actually take a look here. We're giving away this t-shirt. We're giving away a unisex, of course, Ray Lewis charcoal trading card vintage tee. I think that this is super dope because, of course, you get the greatest linebacker of all time, right? But it's on a trading card and you literally get to wear it, right? So different types of apparel that you can wear to games, different types of apparel that you can just wear out and about on the street. You know what I mean? Like, we love to give away things here at PRP that you can wear, not just jerseys, right? Because you're not going to wear a jersey for every single occasion, right? You kind of look like an asshole if you're wearing a jersey for every single occasion. But just regular t-shirts, who can beat that, right? Who can beat that? So this is what we will be giving out on tonight's episode, the main pod of PRP, going live at 6:30 p.m. Eastern time. And of course, only for our channel members. So if you are a channel member, do not worry. You have nothing to worry about. You automatically qualify for a chance to win this t-shirt right here, the super dope t-shirt with our greatest linebacker, our GOAT linebacker, Ray Lewis on it. Put some respect on his name. But yeah, of course, all members. And of course, if you're not a member already, and maybe you're watching the replay of this episode before 6:30 p.m. Eastern time on Thursday, June 18th, and you still want to qualify, you can. All you have to do is just join our channel membership, any tier, right? Any tier will get you in there. What I will say is the Purple Rain Pioneer tier If you do join that tier, which we only have a couple in there right now, but if you do join that tier, you will have your name entered 3 times in the running. So we have to add more value for our higher tier members, but we appreciate all of our members. Everybody's got a chance to win who's a channel member here on PRP. So again, shout out to you guys. I appreciate all of you guys for all of the support, and see you tonight for this giveaway, man. See you tonight for this giveaway. It's going to be cool. It's going to be cool. All right. So let's go ahead and get into it. I see my guy Stretch in the chat. What's going on, Stretch? Appreciate you for coming through. Says congrats on the 7K. Thank you so much, brother. Couldn't have done it without you. Couldn't have done it without everybody who's here in the live chat right now, dedicated to watching the show. Mornings, nights, midday. Man, you guys are phenomenal. You guys are phenomenal. But let's go ahead and jump right into this Jacoby Lane interview, shall we, while we're over here. Let's see. I see in the chat somebody said Rockstar dropped the GTA cover art. Gonna have to check that out. Maybe at the end of the episode. Maybe we'll check that out. But Jacoby Lane was on the Lounge podcast with the Ravens, Ryan Mink, and Garrett Downing. He said a lot of interesting things, some shocking truths to me. Let's go ahead and take a listen.
Wide receiver Jacoby Lane. We got to start here. I think we're going to need to take a DNA test at the beginning of this, because I'm convinced that you're Marlon Humphrey's cousin, right? I mean, how likely have we ruled this out? What do you think?
I don't know. I think that he could be somewhere along in the bloodline.
Seems like you two have really hit it off. Two guys with a ton of personality. Just how much fun have you been having, and what is your relationship with Marlon so far?
Yeah, first we met at the my 30 visit, as was said in the Instagram video.
Yeah.
And I think him being a big personality and me not really being shy in that sort, being willing to talk, ask him questions. He was very excited to see that, and I think him being the personality that he is, it was very easy to talk to him, very easy to break bread with him, as I said. And I think he's one of those people that if you ever get the chance to talk to him, you can see why everybody speaks so highly of him, says he's a big personality, and he is who he is.
That's cool. It's been fun.
Yeah, I mean, whenever I hear Jacoby Lane talk about Marlon Humphrey or vice versa, my brain automatically goes to who is winning those reps in practice. Because as much as like they're like all buddy and, you know, have a similar personality and super happy go lucky and love to be in the spotlight and fun and all that good stuff, they play two positions that go directly at each other on the field. Like, it's not like Marlon Humphrey being good friends with Ronnie Stanley. You know what I mean? Like, this is Marlon Humphrey, cornerback, being, you know, hitting it off with Jacoby Lane, wide receiver. They're going to be going up against each other. I cannot wait for the training camp reports when those start coming out about, you know, who's getting the better of who in these one-on-one reps. I cannot wait, man. But I mean, Jacoby Lane and Marlon Humphrey, yes, they do seem like brothers from another mother. I'll say that.
Fun seeing you get here and just start to build your NFL career and start that foundation, while also letting your personality shine through. Talk to me about just what it's been like since getting here, building the relationship with your teammates, not just veterans like Marlon, but and starting to build a relationship with the rest of these guys.
Yeah, I'm super blessed to be put in this position to come to a place like Baltimore. You know, the fan base first, you know, welcomed me with open arms as soon as I got drafted. Excuse me, but with my teammates, the rookie class, I worked out with Zion and trained with him the whole time in Orange County. Elijah Surratt, we were with each other most of the time at the Combine. Josh Cuevas, we were with each other at the Senior Bowl. So the foundation was already there, and I feel like being able to have a background of who I was going in with, it made me all the more comfortable with meeting the veterans, because I knew at the end of the day, it wasn't like I was going in alone to a new situation. It was like I was with all these guys. So I think being able to have guys that are going through the same thing and want the same thing as far as performance-wise, guys like Elijah Surratt, we're going in learning the playbook at the same time. And I think you can see that it's a lot easier to be in my position, because it's like I have another guy the same age as me, right, coming in at the same time, wanting the same thing. So why would I not work just as hard to be able?
Yeah, I mean, I love this mentality too. It kind of reminds me of, like, you know, it's what makes, like, and so I've heard, because I've never actually experienced myself, but if you're part of this cohort of people, let me know down below in the comments. But it's part of what makes, like, boot camp better for people like who are joining the military and things like that, and like really rough training exercises when you know you have like somebody in arms next to you who's like on the same level as you and struggling with the same things that you are and learning in real time aside you. It makes it a little bit better. It makes it a lot better. And the fact that, Jacoby Lane and Elijah Surratt were both drafted like, back to back, third round, fourth round. It's not like Jacoby Lane was drafted in the third and then Elijah Surratt's like a UDFA pickup wide receiver. No, like these guys are pretty much equals. And in fact, a lot of people thought, including myself, that Elijah Surratt probably should have been drafted higher than Jacoby Lane. So these are truly brothers in arms. And I think that it's going to bode well for, both of them learning this offense and building chemistry with the rest of this offense and with each other, really.
To push him as I want to go. So I think it's so much of a blessing. And I think once you add in the older guys into it and how much they welcome you with the open arms, it's nothing but a blessing.
Yeah. We're through OTAs and minicamp right now. And so what are your impressions so far of what it takes to be a pro and what things are kind of your biggest takeaways so far in terms of what you've learned?
Yeah, I think it's one of those things that everybody says the game gets faster, of course, but I think the attention to detail and how serious it gets as far as the little things, I think that's what everyone, as far as the veteran says, is going to take you to the next level. Your routine and how you take care of the day-to-day things rather than
Small
the
things.
big game moments. I think that's what has been stressed to me. And, being able to be around guys like Mark Andrews, Derrick Henry, and all these guys that have done it, and you see it day by day, it's no surprise when you see them in the building early, getting treatment and taking it serious because that is who it is making those plays on Sunday.
Right.
Is that something as a young player you look around and you see like, okay, what is Derrick Henry's routine? What is Lamar Jackson's routine? Like, do you try to, even as you're just kind of getting your feet wet and learning what it takes to be a pro, do you look around and try to take something from some of these guys who have been doing it for a long time?
100%. I think I would be ignorant not to. I think those guys are in the position they are in for a reason, and I think I want to be in that same position and be able to be so highly spoken of as they are. So I think being able to be around these guys, I take tidbits from everybody, and I think being able to be in a building like this with guys of high caliber on both sides of the ball, it just gives you the opportunity to become your own version of them with them in the building.
Right.
If that makes sense.
You mentioned Elijah Surratt, your fellow rookie wide receiver, and Jesse Minter the other day said, looking at our wide receiver room, like one of these rookies is going to have a big chance, if not both, right? How much does that kind of competition, it's a friendly competition, you both want to see each other succeed, but how much does that kind of push you to be like, hey man, every wide receiver wants the ball.
And this is where you learn whether or not Jacoby Lane is like a diva type of wide receiver.
Want to be that guy, you know what I mean?
Yeah, 100%. I've been in very competitive receiver rooms as long as I've been playing, and I think that's one of those things that you can either see it as a competition or a chance to grow as a whole. And I think once you add Zay Flowers into the mix, you know that like he's one of those guys that anytime he touches the ball, it could be a touchdown. So I think being able to not only see it as a competition and bring my best every day, but bring my best every day to push the guys around me, that's what I've always seen it as. And I think being able to bring that, there's always a competition that's added to that, and the guys around as far as in the receiver room, it's just next level. And I'm so glad that I'm coming in with Elijah. He fresh off a national championship. It's not like he's a guy that can't go at any time. We're the same people, and I think we've realized that, and we want nothing but the best for each other. So that competition is just as much of a love, and we want the best for each other.
One thing I want to say really quick is, does anybody else notice how well spoken this kid is? Like, for a rookie in somebody who, not to say it like this, but really hasn't, I guess you could say, come into his grown man body and, no facial hair. He still looks like a kid, right? He does. But he is very well spoken. You can tell very intelligent. And he's got all the physical attributes as well. I mean, he's got all the makings of being a really good wide receiver in this league. And again, young, he can be developed, right? He's got some veterans to look up to in that locker room. I would have loved if they maybe brought in like a D-Hop or somebody like that who could help him leverage, what he has as an athlete and, physically and things like that, because D-Hop was able to really, really be good with those jump balls. And then he was also really, really good after the catch. So, maybe some more veteran presence from a guy like D-Hop would have been great for Jacoby Lane, but I still do have faith in guys like Zay Flowers and Rashad Bateman and ushering this dude in and kind of, being the catalyst for developing him into a solid pro. But yeah, he's very well spoken, man.
What are your expectations for your rookie year?
The best. Whatever the team needs me to do, I'm going to fulfill it. I don't really care about special teams, playing receiver, being a package guy. I think being able to be around Coach Doyle, his idea for the offense is next level, and I think I'm going to fit in wherever I'm put in.
Hold on, did y'all hear that? I know I wasn't the only one, right? Hold on, let's go back real quick. He talked about Declan Doyle.
And I'm going to for the package guy. I think being able to be around Coach Doyle, his idea for the offense is next level. And
Okay, so here's the thing, chat. Here's what we got to pay attention to. We got to pay attention. We got to pay attention to all of the adjectives. We have to pay attention to all of the adjectives that these players are constantly using when they are describing Declan Doyle's offense. Just walk with me here. Lamar Jackson calls it mind-blowing. Pretty much everybody calls it super detail-oriented. Jacoby Lane calls it next level. Some guys are calling him a mastermind. We got to pay attention to all these things that they're saying, all these adjectives that they're using, this verbiage that they're using when they're describing Declan Doyle's offense. I truly do believe that you are getting ready to see, not to go on too much of a tangent about Declan, you're getting ready to see a new offense in this league, an inspired offense. What do I mean by inspired, chat? What do I mean by that? I mean that Declan Doyle is taking ownership over an offense, much like he's never done so before in his career. Declan Doyle in Chicago, of course, was under Ben Johnson, who was the Bears head coach. And he is the offensive mastermind behind the Bears. He calls the plays. Declan Doyle, of course, had his hands in it as well. He was more of a tape grinder, things like that. But now Declan Doyle has been handed the keys to a quite literal Lamborghini. And he's been told, hey, look, go play, go have fun. So I think that him taking ownership over this offense, like, okay, knowing now that, like, not only am I designing the plays, I'm also calling the plays. The buck stops with me with this offense. I think you're going to see an inspired Declan Doyle. You've already seen that in some of the clips in minicamp. And I think that this offense is going to be explosive. Explosive was another word. Roger Rosengarten used that, I believe, last week in his interview. So Declan Doyle, man, I mean, and what do we always say? When Lamar Jackson gets a new coordinator and he starts with them for the first time, it takes the league by storm every single time. Happened with Greg Roman in his first year starting with him. Happened with Todd Monken in his first year starting with him. Both MVP seasons. And in that second year of Monken, he should have had an MVP then too. So just food for thought there. I mean, Declan Doyle, guys continue to talk him up. I don't think it's for no reason.
think I'm going to fit in wherever I'm put in, and I'm going to fulfill my role to the best of my abilities. So.
You talk about fulfilling a role. One thing that, when you were drafted, I didn't really envision for you was being a big blocker on the perimeter. But I'll tell you, watching practice the other day, you and Zion Young mixed it up a little bit. I noticed that. You did not back down from the big old outside linebacker. Tell me about that block from you.
Yeah, I think being able to, like I said, be put in positions on this offense to be put in positions to make plays, and I think rather than just catching the ball, it's being put in positions to set the edge for Derrick Henry so he can break a 70-yard run. So I think being able to realize it's not just about what I can do down the field, but what I can do in the box and for the offense all around. It's one of those things.
Yeah, buddy, you better get ready to block. because, I mean, that's required. It is a prerequisite here. It's mandatory. You need to be able to block
You just
because we will be running.
you're grateful to be put in those positions.
I'm curious. I looked at some of the things that Lincoln Riley said about you, and he talked about how you're a warrior and how you're so tough. And a lot of times, like for receivers, those aren't necessarily the words that get thrown out. But when you have your head coach talking about the toughness and the mentality and the physicality, like that to me says something. How much pride do you take in that aspect of your game? Even as you mentioned, like going up against Zion, who you're giving up 80 pounds to in practice. How much pride do you take in that side of things?
Yeah, I think it's one of those things that as a receiver, you can get mentioned for a lot of things, and I think being able to be a bigger receiver, I'm a high red zone target, and everybody says that. But I think at the end of the day, one of the things that everybody can say about me is I'm very dependable as far as being a teammate, as far as being somebody that can always be on the field, whether playing through injury, playing through fatigue. I've always been able to be someone that you can look to and not question whether I can do something. So I think my coach is speaking highly of me. That just goes to show that me being willing to do whatever they ask of me at any given time. I think that's been the player I've always been. And one of my mom's favorite mottos is no blocky, no rocky. So just being able to always listen to that in the back of my head and realize that,
Hold on. For
I've
those of
always
y'all in
been,
the back.
and one of my mom's favorite mottos is no blocky, no rocky. So just being able to always listen to that in the back of my head and realize that there's jobs you want to do and there's jobs you got to do. So just being able to do that is a big.
We got to put that on the t-shirt. No blocky, no rocky.
I'm pretty sure.
I agree, Andre. He's well-spoken, very well-spoken for a young man. Totally agree. Dylan says Jacoby is going to be a 1A+++. Real quick, replay gang, let me know what you think down below in the comments. What you're thinking about Jacoby Lane's answer so far. You know what I mean? Are you if you weren't really keen of Jacoby Lane before, is he kind of growing on you? Because he's kind of growing on me. I'll say that. What I do want to grow is the like count. Can we like the video, guys? Whether you're watching live or if you're part of the replay gang, please don't forget, like the video. It helps us out so much here on the channel. I mean, see, here's the thing. A good like, a solid like on a video is akin to a good offensive line on a football team, right? It's the foundation. You know what I'm saying? Because the more likes we get on the video, the more views we get on the video. The more views we get on the video, the more subs we get. The more subs we get, the more support we get. The more support we get, the more we're able to give back to you. And again, we will be doing a 7K subs giveaway tonight. Members only. We will be giving away a homage Ray Lewis t-shirt here, trading card t-shirt. Just want to show you guys really quick on the screen. Giving this away tonight on the episode, 416 of PRP? At 6:30 p.m. Eastern time tonight. That's when the episode starts. We'll do the giveaway at the end of the episode. Of course, we'll be randomly selecting one of our lucky members to win this vintage Ray Lewis trading card t-shirt. All right, back to Jacoby Lane.
Sure, it probably already is. That's not an original from her.
Okay. That's pretty good. I'm curious, so we just talked about the toughness and the physical side of things. But
What up, Asmodeus?
Your highlight reel is up there with the best of the best. Like the one-handed catches and the plays in the red zone, it's as good of a highlight reel as you're going to find. Talk to me about just the perspective of making these big plays and big moments, like these highlight reel catches that everybody is going to be kind of jaw on the floor when you make that. How much is that a part of your game?
Yeah, I think it's one of those things that, being able to do it on Saturdays and, going to do it on Sundays pretty soon. It's one of those things that you kind of get used to it. And with social media, they see it as like a highlight moment, but in practices and in times where I'm on the jugs machine for countless hours or juggling 3 balls or catching tennis balls, like those are the times where it's like I'm putting in the work. So that's just a product of what I do throughout the week. So I've been catching the ball one-handed throughout my life since I was knee high. So I think being able to have bigger hands, be able to trust myself to go up and make a one-handed catch or and that's one of the main things. I'm never trying to make a one-handed catch. I think it turns into one of those things where I trust myself enough to go up with one hand and box somebody out and be able to make a play. But I think...
Yeah, I mean, when you got the tools, when you got the hand size like he's got, again, tested the highest in this past draft class for wide receivers, the biggest hand size, Jacoby Lane?
Like I said, in those moments, it's very fun to hype your team up and put 6 on the board. But at the end of the day, it is just a touchdown.
You juggle
For sure.
Okay, and is that you think is that helpful to you?
100%. Hand-eye coordination is next level. I think being able to have to hand fight with the DB at the top of a route and then be able to track a ball, that's serious coordination.
We got another idea for a social media.
Yeah, I was going to say, how good a juggler are you?
I can juggle. All right,
but
there we go.
Gonna have to put this. I got my cell phone. What do we got?
What do we got here? Yeah. We got some tennis balls in here.
All right, at the end, we'll save it for the end.
I'm expecting a lot. Dude said he can juggle. And with hand size like that, I'm expecting a lot of circus catches this year. I am.
Save it for the end. But yeah, I'm curious, like, whenever you come into league, any rookie, regardless of position, right? It's like, I have to imagine that in the back of your head, you're kind of like, all right, am I going to be able to do it at this level, right? And you guys are all confident, right? You can't get this far without having confidence. But has there been a moment so far through practices where you're like, yeah, I'm going to be good. I'm going to be able to make it here. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think me being who I am, I'm a huge personality, and I think that's just a byproduct of how much I love football. And I think being able to connect with my teammates and being able to be comfortable on the field, that just makes it all the more comfortable in my play. And I think there hasn't been a moment where I haven't been comfortable on the field. So I don't think there's been like oh my gosh, maybe I do belong here. I think it's been like, I know what I'm doing in the meeting room. I know where my split is, so why would I not be able to run a great route right now? And I think that's just who I am as a receiver and who I am as a teammate. I always want to be someone that the guys can look to and not question if I'm going to go 100% and give my best effort. So just being able to be one of those guys and be one of the guys that I see in front of me, like Mark Andrews and Lamar and everybody else. It's just who they are. So I feel like I'm only responsible to do the same.
Yeah. One thing I've noticed is, when you were drafted, I think a lot of people expected big body guy, huge wingspan. He's going to go down the sideline and make plays down the sideline, contested catches, red zone threat, like you're talking about. But what I've seen in OTAs and minicamp is like you've been running a lot of different routes. It's been a pretty extensive tree and a lot of underneath stuff. I mean, like crossers, shallow crossers, like they seem to like you in that kind of role as a big body guy going over the middle. Can you just talk about that and kind of what you offer beyond what maybe people may think of you?
Yeah, like I said, Coach Doyle is a mastermind when it comes to offense.
There goes another one. There goes another word, mastermind.
I think me being able to be not only a bigger receiver, like you said, but be able to have some wiggle to me and be able to move on these shallow crosses, it just gives me more opportunities to open stuff up for guys like Zay, guys like LeJontay, Bate, and so on and so forth. So I think being able to be somebody that can take eyes and be able to pull eyes to a certain area to maybe pop something off or maybe sucker them off and make them think we're going deep and then we hit a double pass or something. I think there's just Coach Doyle, he's going to dial some stuff up this year, and I'm super excited to be a part of it. And I just think me being the receiver that I am, being willing to like block on the edge or go downfield and make a catch on the sideline or go over the middle and catch a slant, like it just opens it up for everything. So I think being able to be one of those guys, it just helps out.
Yeah.
Another huge.
All right. So here is the part of the interview that I really want you guys to pay attention to. It was super important to me what was talked about next year, because I think it has huge implications on the Ravens quarterback, Lamar Jackson, and his decision making and his prioritization of what pass catchers he wants to target. Let's take a listen here.
Piece of your game in college was drawing pass interference penalties. I think it's 11 and 12 games I think you had in college. And going back and looking at those, like there's just times where it seemed like the DBs just kind of panicked. Like you would get a step on them and they would panic and just start getting grabby because they didn't want to give up the big play. Is that something that you feel like is part of your game? Was that more just a function of how it played out in college? Or is that an objective, a goal that you try to play with?
Yeah, I think 9 times out of 10 when it happens, it's more egregious when in my college days. The going back, I've always tried to fight to catch the ball more than anything. But in those and there has been times where I did catch those passes and we did decline it. But
Well, there was the one-handed catch.
exactly. So
Who was that against?
that was against Georgia Southern. I had another one against Maryland, but there's been a couple. But
Now, come on, man.
I threw a straight.
All right, so don't get distracted by all the the college football talk there. But what I did not know, and maybe this is on me, but what I did not know was that Jacoby Lane was the #1 receiver in 2026 in drawn defensive pass interference calls, with 12 of them. Led the nation in wide receivers who drew defensive pass interference calls, with 12. Oh, well, Sutton, what does that mean? Ravens quarterback Lamar Jackson, as we all know, is the type of quarterback who wants to throw the ball to somebody he can trust. When Lamar's in a pinch, when he's rolling out of the pocket, when he's extended the play 6, 7, 8 seconds longer than it should have been, and there's one option downfield and he's covered, but he's going to give his guy a chance at a jump ball, I feel like that's going to be Jacoby Lane. And I'm not just talking about playing out of structure here, because the backyard football that turns into basketball, rebounding type of plays, catches like Jacoby Lane can do, since he's so tall, he's got the big hands. Those can cause interference calls. That can cause interference from defenders. But more importantly, playing in structure, I think that Jacoby Lane as a deep threat is as dangerous as they come. Okay, it's as dangerous as they come. There might be a reason, there might be a method to the madness as to why you have Jacoby Lane in minicamp running shallow routes, crossers underneath and things like that. Maybe, to get him in a little bit of a rhythm before you start to test him deep. But I think that the Ravens might be putting out a little bit of a smoke screen. Call me crazy in the chat or the comments if you want to. But maybe it's a little bit of a smoke screen. So when the season starts, you have other guys running routes underneath that you're really going to be keying in on: Zay Flowers, Mark Andrews, hell, even a Rashad Bateman, pending a vet who comes, whatever. But then if you have Jacoby Lane on deep routes, one-on-one, and he catches a dude slipping, gets a step on him, what happens? I mean, when a receiver, it's one thing for a receiver of a similar size to you, if you're the DB, to get a step on you on like a deep route. But when you have a receiver who gets a step on you, but he also has height on you as well, oh, you have to grab. That's your most natural instinct. Oh, he's already ahead of me. He's already beat me deep. And he's bigger than me. So I have to do something to compensate for being beat in both areas. Because there's zero chance of me winning at the catch point if I don't get my hands on him. That's why he was able to draw 12, led the nation. That's why Jacoby Lane was able to draw 12 defensive pass interference calls. Because if he gets you beat, you got to get hands on him, or else it's an automatic catch. I go back to Torrey Smith, one of the best Ravens wide receivers of all time, and Joe Flacco's rapport with Torrey Smith. And while Torrey Smith was not the archetype physically of receiver that Jacoby Lane is, Torrey Smith was the type of guy who he would get a step on his receiver deep, and Flacco would just throw it up there. He'd just throw it up there. And it was literally, at times, worst case scenario, ref was going to throw a flag. Does anybody else remember those days? Because I do. And I feel like Lamar Jackson could develop a similar type of relationship on the field with Jacoby Lane. Hey, Jacoby's down there one-on-one with a guy he's got a whole helmet and height on. yeah, I'm gonna just throw it up to him. If he comes down with it, great. If he doesn't, it's probably because the other guy held him. And we're gonna go down there anyway. And it's not like college. It's not like college where it's a spot foul. I believe they talked about that in this interview. Or no, college is not a spot foul. It's a 15-yard penalty for pass interference. But in the pros, it's a spot foul. So I can see Lamar Jackson going deep to Jacoby Lane on a 3rd and 11. If he's one-on-one, which is highly possible. Q, appreciate the sub. Which is highly possible. If he's one-on-one, he's probably either coming down with that ball or getting interfered with. And we're getting down there anyway. So I'm just saying, that is probably the most shocking truth that I learned about Jacoby Lane today. He led the nation in college football last year for wide receivers in drawn defensive pass interference calls with 12. That is huge. That is huge. Let's keep listening, though.
Do you like that? Yeah,
it's
throw it out there.
Yeah, it's all right. But like I said, it's one of those things that, you always want to fight to catch the ball because, in college, it's not a spot foul. It's just 15 yards. So,
right.
being able to catch the ball and put your team downfield, that was always the idea. But, like I said, it was egregious. It's not like I was be able to just go up and catch the ball. But I think it just goes to show that, I'm somebody that has the ability to separate, but in times of when those DBs panic, they just grab. So it's not like it's one of those things that I'm trying to do it, but it does put your team in a better position sometimes.
I'm trying to remember. Did you think the Ravens were going to be the team that drafted you? And I'm also secondarily curious, Mekhi Lemon, a teammate of yours at USC, goes in the first round. Do you feel like maybe people, despite massive production for you in college, kind of overlooked you to a degree because of Mekhi and the attention that he drew? Yeah, no, Mekhi is one of my dear friends, and I'll always hold him to the highest standard because he held me to the higher standard in those 3 years while we were at USC. I think I wouldn't be sitting in this room today if it weren't for him, and I think he would say the same vice versa. And with Zach Branch, we're all a trio, and I think we all work together, and I think nobody overshadowed anybody, or I never saw it like that because we were all.
Real quick, I see a comment here in the chat. Kenny says, I just hope the ref is going to throw that flag and not hold on to it. I think that, because it looks so there's hand fighting between a receiver and a DB when they're both a similar size, and it kind of looks like ticky-tacky, bang, bang, that sort of thing, right? But when you have a much bigger receiver being guarded by a smaller DB, the optics of how the DB is trying to stay in the play, it just looks different, right? Because this dude's bigger than you. You're all over. You're trying to drag him down. That's what Jacoby's saying. A lot of times with those DPI calls that he drew, they were egregious. They were egregious. And that's what happens when you have a bigger body. Guys have to kind of overcompensate. And refs see that. If they're not calling those, then we gotta bring pitchforks to New York, wherever they have that building. Where they have the replay officials or whatever, we got to do that. We got to do that. But I think that they will be calling fouls for Jacoby Lane. I do.
Working as a group, as in us today and the receiver.
I mean,
here.
in the draft.
100%. 100%.
That's what I mean.
I was gonna say in that sense, he won the Biletnikoff. It's not like he didn't produce, and
right.
I'm not saying I didn't produce as well, but at the same time, you can't. I would never compare me and him because we sit on two different lines. We're two different receivers, but we were on the same team and we caught from the same quarterback. That doesn't mean we were the same person. I think. As much of a overshadowed thing is people don't even talk about the draft as much anymore. He got drafted in the first round, I got drafted in the third, but in 6 years, nobody's really going to talk about it. We're going to talk about what's relevant then. So I think being able to maintain that mindset, know what matters to me and know what matters to Mekhi. He's most worried about me right now, being able to make the most out of OTAs and the mini camp.
And real quick, now Zay Flowers is going to be Jacoby Lane's new Mekhi Lemon.
So being able to do that and being the friend that he was, it was a blessing.
What other big-bodied wide receivers in the NFL currently or in the past have you looked at and kind of taken things from their game?
Yeah, I think a bunch of receivers
That's
like
a good
Mike
question.
Evans. The list goes on as far as like Keenan Allen, guys that are able to wiggle.
So Mike Evans, Keenan Allen. So we're talking like a solid deep threat, right? We're talking a possession receiver and red zone demon. Like I saw somebody say in the chat, like his route running and is able to separate. Those are the only things he's really missing. If he gets those, if he develops that, he'll be a true star. Man, I just think he can. I think he will. I think he will. And I think iron sharpens iron. I think with Mike Mickens, the DB coach, from Notre Dame, how he's teaching technique. I think it could also work for the wide receivers as well, because they're going up against really talented guys in practice. I mean, you're going to be going up against the likes of Marlon Humphrey. However you feel about him, I'm sure Marlon Humphrey is going to give this kid some problems, in practice, just to kind of let him know, assert his dominance, right? You've got guys like Nate Wiggins. You've got guys like vets like Chido Awuzie who are going to be testing him, right? And those guys are going to be taught the right technique, right? The fundamental technique that guys learn in college under Mike Mickens. So, again, like I said, iron is going to sharpen iron here in this case, and I think that Jacoby Lane can definitely break out. I'm still more, I guess you could say, confident immediately in Elijah Surratt, but I mean the upside of Jacoby Lane is just undeniable, man.
I think like I take stuff from smaller guys because it's not like I'm a one trick pony, like one category. I think I can do a lot of things. So just being able to not necessarily put myself in a box and try and do one thing as best as somebody else, but like take something from everybody's game and try and do it to the best of my ability and just see what works. I think we have two next level receiver coaches in KC and Coach Gill that are going to take us to the next level. And I'm just so grateful to be in the receiver room with coaches like them. I'm getting better every day as far as just receiver play. And I think that's just going to go on. And I'm molding into my own receiver rather than just a prototypical big receiver.
By the way, you're going to have like cornerback number 3. You're going to have a cornerback number 3 matched up on Jacoby Lane a lot of times. And cornerback number 3 is probably going to be undersized as well. So he's going to be in constant size mismatches. And also the skill gap between him and the guys who's going to be guarding him probably isn't going to be that big most times. You know what I mean? So this dude's going to have a lot of opportunities. I'd be surprised. I would be shocked if the Ravens did not trot out Jacoby Lane in a lot of their 11 personnel looks when they have 3 wide receivers on the field. It's going to be Zay Flowers, Rashad Bateman, and Jacoby Lane's going to be right there, man. Remember, like I said, last week I talked to Cordell Woodland, Ravens reporter, and he told me that in minicamp, what they're not really reporting on is that they are hunting opportunities to get Jacoby Lane involved. They're hunting opportunities that they want this guy. They want this guy to break out and be the next star wide receiver. And it's about time. It's about time that the Ravens start developing wide receivers who are actually, a threat to the league, like a real threat to the league. Zay Flowers is a real threat to the league. For as much crap as I give him and as much as I hold him accountable for all the fumbles and stuff like that, Zay Flowers is a damn good receiver, and the Ravens drafted him. And I think Jacoby Lane can be the next rendition of a drafted Ravens wide receiver who ends up becoming a star. I definitely think that. Let's keep listening, though.
I want to get your perspective on your draft story, because I always like hearing about players and their draft story. Some guys are like, it was the best weekend of my life. Other guys are like, it was the longest, stretch of my life, and I don't have great memories about it. What was your perspective on draft weekend?
Yeah, I was super fortunate to be blessed to be around my family, friends. It was not necessarily a long weekend, but it was just super stressful. Like I didn't know whether I was gonna get called like on some random stuff or like just like wait it out, or you never know. It's just one of those things that you could have like a surge of receivers going. Somebody like is like, oh, we need a receiver right now, and you get taken on some, oh, we just needed you, rather than like, oh, we really wanted you.
You were our guy, right?
Exactly. So I think being able to know that like wherever I was going to go was where I was going to go, and I had to not necessarily like sit with that, but like be grateful that like that was going to be my team. And I wasn't ever like necessarily mad or like anything that like receivers are going before.
Kenny Bateman is a threat to the league when the Ravens allow him to be a threat to the league.
For me, it was just one of those things like I don't know what's going to happen for me. So it was hard to like sit there and like be like, oh, like this is the best day of my life. Like until EDC called me.
Yeah.
And then it was like, oh my gosh, this is the best day of my life. And then like my mom was telling me like you were not enjoyable to be around before you got called, because and I was like, I bet like I wasn't getting called. Like I don't know what you guys want me to do. Like that doesn't have anything to like I have no bearing on when my phone rings, and like wherever I go, whenever it happens, it's gonna be the best thing ever. Yeah. And I literally remember sitting there and like I was on my phone, and because I just reposted something of Mekhi Lemon. He was at like a Philadelphia 76ers game. Mm-hmm. And I'm like closing my phone, and I like literally see like a phone call pop up as I'm like literally silencing my phone. And I'm like, and I look up and it's like going to voicemail, but like now in Apple you can like you can
intercept it, basically.
Yeah, you can intercept it. And I was like, hello? Like, is this Jacoby? I'm like,
wait, real quick. On who, Jacoby Lane, you let a team that was trying to draft you go to voicemail? He probably thought it was like spam or something like that, because I'm sure it was maybe like a 410 number or 443, one of the two. And he was like, what is this? Is this like spam? Is this, because he's from Cali, right? So he's never seen that area code in his life, right? Not familiar, totally unfamiliar. But yeah, why would you let it go to voicemail? You have to pick up. I would be picking up immediately.
Yes, sir. And I like tried to clear my voice, but you can tell I was already getting emotional, but like it was just, I couldn't even.
Antoine, good morning.
Sometimes I like see clips of my documentary pop up on like TikTok or something, and it'll be that clip. Yeah. And it'll get me emotional every time I see it, because it's just like that was the call you've been working towards your whole life, and it's just the start of a crazy journey. And I think like being able to sit in this seat now doing this, it just goes to show that like the work is not done, but this is a byproduct of all the hard work that's been put in the past.
But the emotion on your call was real.
Real quick, I need you to tackle that like button for me. That's right. Tackle that like button for me if you have not already. Thank y'all so much for joining, and sub if you are new. And thank you guys again so much for 7,000 subscribers here on PRP.
Like some guys are very stoic. There's the others are really emotional. Like you could tell the emotion. I just remember even talking to you when you did your press conference on Zoom with reporters here. Like you could still see the excitement and the emotion that was like still raw and real in that moment. And like you could feel it.
100%. I think I've never been shy to wear my emotions on my sleeve, because I know at the end of the day, like who I am as a person is a very like I live by like who I am around. I feed off the people I'm around, and I keep my circle tight, and that's a very positive circle. So being able to be someone that can enjoy moments like that at a time and be very happy, it was a special moment.
I could have saved you a lot of stress just to pat myself on the back here as a reminder to Ryan. We do a 7-round mock draft, and we do all of our picks.
Okay.
Guess one of us picked you. One of
Thank
us.
you, Keto.
Whoa, that wasn't because I didn't want it to happen. I just didn't predict it to happen.
One of us. It happened. You had
Arizona.
You had to deal with it. Now what?
Close enough.
Now what?
Wow. I'm just saying.
It's
I can't remember who it was, but yeah, one of us picked you.
Hey, it's all right. It's over now.
One of my favorite parts of your pre-draft story is,
I might just draft Jacoby Lane in fantasy this year. I might just do it. By the way, Rain Gang Fantasy League, what is this? Probably like year 5. It's going to be in full effect. We're going to do a league this year. It's going to be so much fun. We're going to be actually way more focused than we have in years past on it. We're going to do a members only league. It's going to be another perk of being a member. You can join our fantasy league as well. It's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be a lot of fun this year. I promise you. And we got some big things in the works coming for this season. So please stay tuned to the Purple Rain podcast.
how you put on weight, which was eating a lot of pizza.
For
now,
sure.
That's a man after my own heart. I should have picked you for that alone. Pizza
That's your
guy.
fault. I love pizza. That's like that is my favorite food. I think it's hard to mess up pizza, and like that's one of those things that
This is giving me I love cookies.
feel like I'm not a picky eater, but like I'm very choosy, as in the sense of like if I'm not in the mood to eat it, I won't eat it. But I'm most of the time in the mood to eat pizza.
Yeah, everyone's always in the mood to eat pizza.
Exactly. So.
Can you tell our viewers about kind of your journey through that and being a skinnier guy growing up and how important that was to you?
Yeah, as you can tell, I'm not able to really like sit still ever. Like I'm a very energetic guy, and I feel like that shows. But I was diagnosed with ADHD and ADD at a young age, and I took Adderall from
Wow, I didn't know this.
I say kindergarten, like no, not kindergarten, like second grade to like the end of my senior year in high school. So that kind of suppressed my appetite, and I would, have a different medicine to kind of like offset that to make me eat. But like sometimes I would be so focused on tasks at hand that like I would forget to eat. And it wasn't like I was overly skinny. I was skinny, but like I was still like healthy and stuff. So I think once my senior year in high school, once I kind of stopped taking that Adderall, and I just kind of lived like how it was, and I kind of started to be more energetic. I ate more, and then that's when I started to kind of put on more weight. So.
Yeah, nice.
So the boy's only been eating for a good 2-3 years, right? Because prior to that, his entire life, he was on Adderall all the time. So his appetite was curbed. So the boy's only been eating for 3 years. So when he's getting with these nutritionists and these these trainers and things like that the Ravens, of course, top flight organization, top flight facilities, trainers, all that good stuff. We talk about him coming into that grown man body. I think we'll be able to see that. And I think we'll see it in preseason, to be honest with you. Because I figure over these next, 5-6 weeks where, they're kind of out of, the building and things like that, I feel like he's going to be putting on more weight. I hope that somebody came up with some sort of plan for him, right? Some sort of like meal plan, diet plan, something like that to get him as built as possible for the upcoming season, because it's going to be a tough one. You cannot get through a full NFL season in the AFC North if your body's not prepared for it. I mean, he better be talking to guys like Derrick Henry. I know he's a running back, different positions, but we got to get this guy bulked up. By the way, 84 people watching live right now. Shout out to you guys. Please, 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 please like this video. Tackle that like button for me if you're watching on YouTube. If you're watching on X, give me a follow. Let's keep listening, though.
Nice.
You mentioned high school. Your high school quarterback is Todd Heap's son, and you have a great relationship with Ravens legend Todd Heap. We actually talked to Todd after the draft about you and your relationship, and like you guys are tight.
Yeah.
And Eric told the story of when you were here on your 30 visit of you calling, FaceTiming Todd, and you guys talked in his office, and that was kind of a nice moment. What did you take from Todd Heap and his mentorship and what he's meant to you?
Yeah, Todd, if anybody's ever met Todd, he's 10 out of 10 person that like I could easily hang around Todd for months upon end, because he's just you learn something new from him every day. And I think being able to be around him at such a pivotal time in my life when I was really becoming a man and, going off to college to be by myself, and he was kind of the person to, have those kind of like final talks with me, like, this is how you can handle yourself, or this is how you can handle yourself. This is how you can do it, or this is how you can do it. I sit in this chair, like his chair, being able to be a retired NFL legend. And, I would be, once again, stupid not to listen to him. So I think being able to, be around him for those 4 years in high school, it was really a blessing to, be around not only a next level athlete, like top of the notch, like at like one of the best tight ends in Ravens history, but also one of the best people in Ravens history, one of the best men of all time. Like being able to be around someone that is always spoke highly of, it just goes to show like you want to be a good person over everything, because that is what stands over everything. That is what's going to speak through halls and walls like every time. So just being able to be around a guy like Todd, it was nothing but a blessing.
Can you it sounds like he had talks with you kind of about being a professional and what it's going to take from that perspective, right? Can you talk about, because you're also a guy who loves to have fun. You're on social media. You're very comfortable with that,
Yep.
all that stuff. And honestly, it kind of reminds me of Torrey Smith a little bit when he came into the league. Like, he was a big Twitter guy, right? Mm-hmm. And I think that there are people that looked at that, some people, and they're like, oh, is he too focused on that? Can he be a good route? Torrey proved it, right? You can be that stuff. And you can also be a really great professional and a really great football player. Right. Can you talk about how you balance all that stuff, like the lifestyle with the player? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think, like, if you...
Basically, how can you not be Keon Coleman?
If anybody goes on my Instagram, like, all of my posts I turn the comments off, because I always think, like, what is somebody going to say on my post that I didn't already feel about or care about? Like, it's all opinion. So I think it's one of those things that, like, I've never associated social media with my emotions or like how I feel. I think social media is, and it's hard not to and in this time and at my age, it's very hard to not associate your feelings with what people say about you online. But sometimes I'm quick to remind myself, because of my mom and what I've been raised upon. I know the truth about myself. Nobody can tell me anything I don't know about myself, because I'm very honest with myself at the end of the day. So when I post on social media and when I post these photo dumps, it's not from like, oh, I want to please everybody and make them so happy. It's just coming from a place of like, this is what's in my camera roll. This is what I like to post. Like, this is the song I'm listening to this week. This is like the vibe. Like, and that's the way I connect with the people that are following me. I think I have a huge following from not only TikTok but Instagram, and it's just one of those things that I think being able to be engaged with my fans, it just makes it all the more better when like they can say something that they see on Instagram, and it's like I can connect with them on something and when I see them, rather than just be like, hey, like, great game, like, and it just gives them an opportunity, connect with me on a different level, rather than just what.
Real quick, Jacoby feels like the type of wide receiver who like wants to get in the end zone, not even so much so that his team can score, but just so he can do a touchdown celly. You know what I mean? Like, he gives me like Chad Ochocinco, Odell Beckham Jr. vibes, where it's like all week he's planning a damn touchdown celebration. And I'm not saying this to like crap on him or anything like that. I mean, I love it. When you get in the end zone, you get in the end zone. Do you, brother? You know what I'm saying? But like, he definitely does give me that. I cannot wait for the first Jacoby Lane touchdown celebration. That's probably going to be, it's going to be a movie. It's going to be a movie.
They see on game day or throughout the team.
So, right.
I mean, like, when we talked to Todd, I thought his description was good. He's like, Jacoby is today's athlete, and like, you've grown up in this era, and like, I think that all of what you're saying kind of speaks to that point and being comfortable in the spotlight. And look, a receiver that's comfortable in the spotlight, I think that could be a good thing. Like, you want to be a guy that can like rise to the occasion in those moments. The other thing too that really stood out to me after the draft, whether it was Todd, you mentioned Torrey did this. Des Bryant tweeted about you and how this is a steal of the draft, is what Des said. Steve Smith talked about you. Like, I don't remember, I'm sure there's other examples, but I don't know if I remember another player who got like more endorsements like right off the bat in terms of great pick by the Ravens. Like, especially the third round pick, like immediately everyone was saying like, this is a great pick. And notable guys here, we're talking about big name people and established people with credibility. What did it mean to you to have all of these people coming out and saying, like, this was a great pick, he is going to blossom in Baltimore? Yeah,
I think it's nothing but a blessing to, have guys of such high caliber and such toutedness, speak highly of me, and it's nothing but a blessing. I shout out to Des Bryant, shout out to Steve Smith. Those guys are legends, and I think being able to not only play the receiver position at a high level, but be able to do it on such a high stage on a consistent level like they did, it's one of those things I'm excited to be able to do, and I think I have the real chance to do that. And I know that at the end of the day, it's one of those things to talk about it, but it's another thing to do it every day. And I think that's one of the things I'm most excited to do. And I think there's been a lot of talk, but that's one of the things that it's before the season. That's what happens before every season. And it's just, it's easy to get overhyped and stuff. But I've been putting in the work every day, so I'm not worried about what people have to say about the lead up to it. I'm worried about what I have to do in the day-to-day stuff. So I'm, like I said, I'm a process-based person. I think in them shouting me out, it's because at the end of the day, I've connected with them, and they know that it's not like I'm just a great receiver, but at the end of the day, like I take attention to detail very serious. Every time I've ever talked to one of those people, it's not like I blew them off or didn't look them in the eye when we were talking, and they know at the end of the day what they were saying hit to me. So I think that's a huge thing as well.
Yeah. Well, man, I'm excited to watch you play. I've been excited to watch you out here at practice. I tell everybody when we've been, breaking down practice, I'm like, it sounds different when Jacoby catches the ball. Like, because your hands are so big, it's like, thwomp. It's just like
It's like a vacuum cleaner.
I mean, I've watched a lot of football over the years, and it really does have a different sound. So I did want to show our viewers like how big your hands are, because they're the biggest in the class, right? Like, stick that up for the camera, and we'll do a little comparison here. Good night. All right,
Jeez, look at the hand size, bro. And I get it. Ryan Mink is just a guy. He's literally a jag, right? But Jacoby, look at the paws on this kid, bro. Look at the paws on this kid. That's why I had to pause it here for you guys. But like, this is why he's able to go up and make these one-handed catches. Man,
so people can see it. I mean, goodness gracious alive. Like, it's crazy.
Yeah. My mom put me onto these hand stretches when I was younger, and as I started doing, my hands started to grow. Not grow, but like stretch more. So,
Interesting.
yeah.
You actually think
That's kinda
that
painful.
like the stretches that you did as a kid made your hands bigger?
100%.
Really?
Like going like this and like stretching this part of your thumbs.
Okay, I'm gonna have to start doing this more now.
I mean, that makes sense though. I think that makes sense. I mean, they're acting like it doesn't, but I think it makes sense because if you intentionally continuously stretch your muscle fibers, especially muscle fibers in a part of your body like your hands and fingers that don't get worked or don't get put under a whole lot of stress, then yeah, I could definitely see those muscle fibers over time stretching out and in turn stretching your hands.
I've done these hand stretches as a kid, I'd be a receiver in the NFL,
Is
man.
it too late when you're 40-some years old?
Just a little. Not too late. You never know.
You mentioned your mom a few times. I've read that you've said this, that you've called her your best friend and just obviously a critical figure in your life. How much do you credit you being here today to all that she instilled in you? Like, you've mentioned it multiple times in this conversation, lessons that she's taught you, and how big of a factor was she in getting you to this point?
Yeah, that's my superwoman. She's single mom, but like you would never know. She'd never questioned or never. I couldn't even name a time where she could say no to me for an opportunity. I think she was always there for me, no matter it was to be there for me for school or,
Shout out to moms.
be there for me for football. So I think being able to, have someone that bent over backwards for me in times of like pivotal moments where it was like get me to a game on the other side of the county or stuff like that. She never shied away from that or never was ever questioning if she could ever do it. So I think being able to be around someone like her and be able to be inspired like her by someone like her, it's nothing but a blessing. And I hope I can be half the person that she is because she's a next level person and I owe her the world. So
That's
He
awesome.
loves
she
that
juggle?
next level.
she can't juggle though. She can't juggle.
You got that.
She is a next level person, but she can't juggle.
Well, I want to see it, so we're gonna put a pin in that.
Let's
We'll
do
come
it.
back. Jacoby, thanks for joining us.
Thank you guys for
All right, so that was the end, wrapping up the Jacoby Lane interview. And listen, guys, lots of takeaways. I know he said a lot of things in there, but again, the main thing for me, if you're just now joining us, thank you so much for coming through and watching this live stream. If you're part of the replay gang, comment down below what you thought of that Jacoby Lane interview. But the main takeaway for me, guys, was, well, there's two things. Number one is the hand size. Of course, his hands are objectively huge. They are objectively huge. Tested in the 99th percentile in this class for hand size. That's pretty damn important, especially when it comes to a lot of these contested catches, these one-handed catches that you're going to have to make in the league, right? But furthermore, like I said before, Jacoby Lane drew the most defensive pass interference calls in the nation last year with 12 of them. Okay, 12 of them. And what does that tell you? A guy who can draw a lot of defensive pass interference calls, that means that his quarterback knows that he can trust him if he throws it up to him to either A, come down with the ball, B, draw a DPI call, or C, get an and one and do both. And those three things, if you possess those qualities as a wide receiver, guess who is going to love you? That's right, Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson loves receivers that he can just trust to throw it up to, especially when he's in a pinch or even when he's not. Even if he hits his three-step drop, comes out of his hitch and he's right on time, Jacoby Lane has a step on somebody deep, he's going to throw it to him every single time. I promise you. I promise you. That was my biggest takeaway and the most shocking truth about Jacoby Lane that a lot of people don't even know yet. A lot of people don't even know that he led the nation in defensive pass interference calls. Led the nation. Because like I said, again, when you have an average size DB trying to guard an above average size wide receiver, the optics, just from like visually as a referee, when you're looking at those two guys battling for position as the ball is coming down, the smaller guy typically has to grab and hold on to and tug the bigger guy so he doesn't get beat. So he doesn't just get head topped. You know what I'm saying? He has to. And again, visually, optics wise, the refs, they see that and it looks more egregious when it's a small guy trying to hold on to a bigger guy and they'll throw the flag. And like we mentioned, in college, that's only a 15-yard penalty. But in the league, it's a spot foul. So Lamar Jackson, and more importantly, Declan Doyle knows this. Everything we've heard about Declan Doyle, he's a mastermind. He's next level. He's a genius. He's detail-oriented. This, that, and the third. Do you think that Declan Doyle doesn't know what he has in Jacoby Lane? By the way, a receiver who's coming in with Declan Doyle as a first-year contributor to this Ravens team. He knows, hey, look, if we send Jacoby Lane deep and he is one-on-one, especially, okay, come on, like we're talking single high safety and you see Jacoby Lane one-on-one at the X position. Oh, that's whole shot city, baby. That is whole shot city. If he gets a step on his DB, if he gets a step on his man, Lamar Jackson drops it right in there between his defender and the safety. Jacoby Lane's coming down with that ball, or at the very least, drawing a DPI call. Again, that was the biggest thing that I learned from that Jacoby Lane interview, man. I cannot wait to see this guy suit up and play for this Ravens team. Let's take a look at some comments here. Steve Loop in the chat. What's going on, Steve Loop? Appreciate you for coming through, Mr. Loop. Please be sure, guys, tackle that like button if you haven't already. Like the video, sub to the channel if you are new and you're enjoying what you're listening to. We'd appreciate that as well. Shout out to Q, our newest subscriber here, as you guys can see on screen. And also, thank you guys so much again for 7,000 subs. 7,000 subs. Christian with the happy poop. Happy poop. Appreciate you, Christian, for dropping the gift in the chat. Let me see. God's Favor says him and Zay's touchdown celebrations are going to be fun to watch this season. Man, I'm telling you. I'm sure they're already coordinating it. This is why, again, like I said yesterday, or maybe day before yesterday, you're going to see pictures, videos, just media in general of Lamar Jackson working out down in Florida with Zay Flowers. I think Rashad Bateman will be there. And I think Jacoby Lane will be there too. I think he will. And if there's one thing they're probably going to work on outside of, actually, sharpening their football skills, it's going to be those touchdown sellies. I promise you. They're already getting them together. I know that. Let me see. Christian says, I'm so glad Sut is still on. I've been so busy this morning. Of course, I got you, brother. We are getting towards the end here, though. But that's okay. Because listen, more Sutton content where this came from, because we're doing an episode of Sutton Reactions today. Sutton Reactions is coming out after this. So if you want to continue to see me live, make sure you head over to the Sutton Reactions YouTube channel where we talk pretty much everything other than football, right? We pretty much talk everything other than football. Got a lot to cover today on Sutton Reactions. We react to everything. You can actually send me videos and topics like that to react to. We talk about them on screen. Again, Sutton Reactions. Sutton, how you spell Sutton, and then Reactions. That's the YouTube channel name. You can check that out. We'll be going live. I want to see some of you guys over there. I want to see some new faces over there. Happy poop. And then appreciate another gift from our guy Christian. Appreciate the high five. Thank you, brother. Nero Psych Sports is in the chat. What's good, all? What's going on, Nero? What's going on, brother? 205 Young Savage, another member in the chat. What's going on, 205 Young Savage? Guess what, 205 Young Savage? We hit 7,000 subscribers, like Afia says here. And you guys know what that means. You guys know what that means. 7K giveaway, baby. You already know what it is. You already know what it is. 7K giveaway. We're doing it again here tonight on tonight's main pod episode of the Purple Rain podcast, kicking off at 6:30 p.m. Eastern time. We will be giving away this Ray Lewis trading card shirt. Very, very nice vintage Ray Lewis trading card t-shirt that you can wear anywhere. You know what I'm saying? You can wear it out and about to the grocery store. You can wear it to a party. You can wear it to go do errands. You can wear it to a game. You can wear it anywhere. You can wear it anywhere, right? 205 Young Savage with the Flow State Jewels. Appreciate that, Young Savage. Another member in the chat. And guess what? For the members, you automatically qualify for a chance to win this t-shirt on tonight's episode. If you're a member here in the chat, you automatically qualify tonight to win this t-shirt. We will be drawing from our wheel selector of all of our members. So make sure you join our membership if you've not already, and you will qualify for a chance to win. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And we will be giving it away tonight. Giving it away tonight. All right. So, what do I have a Steelers fan, D Will? That was yesterday. Check out yesterday's episode with D Will. Steelers fan came through, chopped it up with us. That was a good time. Make sure you guys check that one out. It's on the channel. But all right, guys, listen, I'm gonna go ahead and get out of here. We've got a lot more streams, a lot more content to come out with today. Again, I will be heading over to the Sutton Reactions channel, and we will be over there getting into some things. And then, of course, later tonight, main pod, PRP, 6:30 p.m. Eastern time. If you're watching on X right now, click on the link in my bio, right? And it'll take you to the Purple Rain Podcast YouTube channel. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you become a member. And if you're watching again right now, like this video and hype this video if you're part of the replay gang. I know some of you guys are listening on your lunch breaks or whatever, what have you. Shout out to all of y'all, and I'll see y'all later tonight on PRP. Love y'all, appreciate y'all, and see you later.